What's up, guys? Now remember to go check us out online, therevolutiontv.com. We got streaming radio on there now. You can listen to all your favorite bands while you're surfing the net. And if you got any questions or need some counseling, remember, you're not alone.
We all need to feel connected, don't we? I mean, how many times do you jump on Facebook during an average day? The guys from Hawk Nelson had a revelation about social networking during a power blackout.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't want to tell anyone how to parent or anything like that. But one example is that there was a power blackout in 2004 that most of the East Coast,
awesome.
Lots of you were probably affected by it.
57 million people.
But our power, where I lived up in Canada, was out for 2 days. And I talked to my neighbors more during that power blackout than I ever had before. I met neighbors I didn't know I had. And I think the sense of community that that I experienced in those 2 days was amazing.
Yeah.
And for better or for worse, the more technology that we have, it seems the more we pull ourselves away from our neighbors and our friends.
Internalize. Yeah.
And so I don't think that's necessarily ideal.
If you look at the majority of what's going on in the world today, when you see MySpace or Facebook, all those kind of little network things, what everyone's doing is they're trying to obtain friends. They're like, oh, how many friends do you have? Oh, I have 946 friends. And like everybody needs and everybody wants a friend.
I don't know, you're always contemplating all these deep life questions, why am I here? And I honestly think it's just, when it comes down to it, relationship with God and then relationship with others. And that's all that really matters at the end of the day,
I think also, one of the things I've been really thinking about a lot the last couple of days is we, as believers, sometimes overcomplicate things.
Yep.
And I definitely know it's totally a good thing to strive to be closer to God and to, find your calling and all these things. But every time I've had a moment of clarity from God, or a moment where I feel like God's imparted something amazing, I'm just like, oh wow, like a wow moment, it hasn't been something I've been looking for. It's not because of anything I did or anything that that I tried to do, other than just spending time listening and paying attention, And I think sometimes we strive to be close to God when that's not how it works with a best friend, Me and Dan, if I want to be closer to Dan as a friend, I don't think, oh, I want to be closer to you.
You're going to work double time.
Dan, I really want to be closer to you, man. Help me be closer to you. I don't know that. We just hang out and spend time together.
It's true.
And I think the same goes with God.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Jason with Hawk Nelson, and you're watching The Revolution. I was just introduced to YouTube the other day, and I've never been on it, but now I'm addicted. But I looked at the most popular views, and this is kind of off topic, but people, you can watch people being killed online, and it's no big deal anymore. We become so desensitized to things, and we start justifying things where it's not that big of a deal anymore. And I mean, we're all guilty of that. I mean, we all do things that we can justify, and we're like, okay, and when you're 12 years old, it was like, oh my goodness, that's a huge deal. But now I'm 25, and it's like, well, that was a big deal when I was a kid, but you just start justifying things. And I think we're all guilty of that. I think it's all about, you really need to know where your heart's at. You have to keep your heart in check all times. And again, that's definitely not easy. It's one of the toughest things to do. Everything I do, I need to ask myself, how is this affecting the people around me? Not just myself, but my peers and the people watching me right now. Is this affecting them positively, or is it affecting them negatively? Jesus is changing my life every single day. It's not a one-step thing, I don't think. It's every day you kind of find out where you are, and you're like, okay, what do I need to do today to make my life better, And it's an everyday process, I think, and it's if you're not going up, you're going down. So I'm aiming up,
Well, when I was in high school, not the most popular kid. I switched groups a lot. You lose friends, you have your enemies, and I definitely remember all that very clearly. But at the same time, I'm kind of thankful for those times, because it really helped me define who I am and get to know. I kind of had to get to know God better, because I couldn't necessarily depend on people. And He was always there for me every step of the way, and He still is, and He's there for every kid out there. And it's cool. It doesn't matter what you're going through. God loves us all. whether we're addicted to drugs, you know, or whether you're addicted to anything, like whatever we've done, he's always there. So I'm very thankful for him, and I know he's there for each kid out there.
Jesus changes my life too, every single day. I'm so thankful for Daniel, who was vulnerable and brave enough to share about his experiences in high school. It sounded very similar to mine, even though the halls were always really crowded and the hustle and bustle of the kids going by. I had never felt so alone. But the Lord used that time to draw me closer to Him, and He became my best friend. Best thing that could have ever happened to me.
You know, just like when we were in high school, you might be out there looking and saying that you find your happiness in your friends and your relationships. And those are great, but that's not going to give you all the happiness and all the peace that you need to get through this life. Life's not easy. It's not easy at all. But I tell you one thing that is going to give you peace and is going to give you true happiness, and that's having a real relationship with Jesus. It's not a magical prayer that you say and instantly everything's great, but it's having a day-to-day relationship with the person that loves you more than anybody else on this earth can, and that's Jesus Christ. And I want you to challenge you right now to go out there and find out what a real relationship with Jesus is. And you're going to find peace there, you're going to find happiness there.
Thanks so much, guys, for watching The Revolution. We'll see you guys next week. And hey, if God be for us, who can be against us?
Okay, a true story about Phil Keaggy. One time, someone asked Jimi
Oh, yeah.
Hendrix. One time, somebody asked Jimi Hendrix.
It was a Rolling Stone interview.
Okay, Rolling
Yeah.
Stone interview. Asked Jimi Hendrix, what does it feel like to be the best guitar player in the world? And Jimi Hendrix said, I don't know, ask Phil Keaggy.
No kidding.
Real story.
No kidding.